morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Just raise your hands and let me know if I'm audible to you in the chat box. Hurry up. There are very less students who have joined the session today. Why it is so? Which webinar, Nikita? Which webinar is going on? All right, raise your hands, hurry up, so that we may start the lecture as soon as possible. All right, students, just pay attention and keep responding in the session. All right, we will go a little bit faster today because we have to cover a number of topics in this lecture, right? Peer mentoring. All right, Nikita. It's okay. Right. We have discussed about polynomial algebra or number system. We have discussed about sets, monoids, rings, semigroups, groups, fields, etc. So apart from that, we have a number of things like Euclid's algorithm. हमने Euclid's algorithm या Euler's theorem किया है in this session. आपके नहीं हुआ है ना अभी? Yes or no? I don't think so. I have covered Euclid's algorithm and Euler's theorem, Fermat's theorem in your session. हाँ जी, ट्रिपल DES कर रहे थे आप लास्ट. ऑल राइट, ठीक है. ट्रिपल DES इज नथिंग. DES जो आपने किया है, ट्रिपल DES इज जस्ट वी आर हैविंग इन डबल DES we have two keys of 56 bits. All right, one is used in first round. All right, second is used in second run, and there is an intermediate result. So this is the way in double DES. In triple DES, again we are having three keys of 56 bits. Key 1, key 2, and again key 1 is used third time. That is triple DES. All right, the same steps of DES will be followed. So let's start with number system में जो topics left out हैं उनको cover करेंगे पहले. Euclidean algorithm or Euclid's algorithm, right? So in Euclidean algorithm or Euclid's algorithm, first of all, why we are going to study this? You must know why we are going to study this, because it is very difficult to find out the factors of prime numbers, large primes. Like if I say that there is a prime number 1 1 2 4 9 7. All right, this is a large prime number, and if we say that they are of 256 bits, if it is a 256 bit long number, so it would be very large. Then this इससे भी बहुत बड़ा number होगा. So such number of order 256 bit which are prime number are very difficult, and manually they are quite impossible to factorize. All right, so if they are not if any means person manually is, then he can't decipher the text or decrypt the text, or he can't find out the encryption key that can be used for decryption in symmetric key encryption algorithms, right? So that is why we are studying these mathematical terms, right? So first tell me what is GCD. in mathematics. What is GCD? चलो मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछता हूँ. Let me. Greatest common divisor, that is GCD. So this Euclid's algorithm is used to find out the GCD. So there is a formula for GCD according to Euclid's or Euclidean algorithm, that is GCD of two numbers A and B is equal to GCD of B comma A mod B. All right. So let's take an example. GCD 1025, 35. All right. If this is to be calculated, then according to this formula, GCD of here A is 125, B is 35. GCD B A mod B will be GCD B is 35, A mod B 1025. 15. All right. So what would be the remainder? A mod B. A 1025 divided by 35 will give remainder 10. Right. Again, GCD will be calculated for these two numbers, considering 35 as A, 10 as B. This will become equal to GCD 10. A is B is 10 here, B is 10 here, B A mod B. Now 35 mod 10 will give remainder 5. 35 divided by 10 you will give remainder 5. So we are having 10 and 5. So again we will find out this GCD considering 10 as A, 5 as B. So that would be equal to B 5 comma 10 divided by 5 will give remainder 0. So 5 is the answer. 5 is the GCD. Right? For 1025 and 35, greatest common divisor is 5. Right? Is this clear? Yes or no? Raise your hands, please. Yes. Similarly, GCD of 11,7 will be equal to GCD B. B is 7. 11 divided by 7 will give remainder 4. All right. Equal to GCD B. A mod B. 7 mod divided by 4 remainder 3. Similarly, GCD 3 comma A mod B. 4 divided by 3 will give remainder 1 is equal to GCD 1 comma 3 divided by 1 will give remainder 0. So answer is 1. In this case, whenever we are having GCD 1 for something, this means these two numbers are co-primes. If GCD for two numbers is not 0 is 1, this implies numbers are co-prime. Now what is co-prime? Co-prime are those numbers which are prime with respect to each other, which do not have any common divisor. Like 2 and 6 are not co-primes, they are having common divisor. 6 can be divided by 2. All right. 4 and 6 are having common divisor 2. They are not co-primes. But yes, 5 and 6 are co-primes. All right. No other number which can divide both 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 are co-primes. 4 and 5 are co-primes. All right. There is no other number which divides 4 and 5. All right. 1 is the exception. So because 1 is the greatest common divisor for them, 1 is the GCD for them. All right. 1 is the 1 is the GCD for all numbers. if we find out GCD, 1 is the GCD for all numbers. So this was what Euclid's algorithm is used for. It is used for finding GCD, right? Next is Euler's totient function. Now, what is Euler's totient function? It is denoted by phi n for any number n, and says that Euler's totient, it is phi n will be called as a Euler's totient function. Euler's totient function for n greater or equal to 1 is defined as the number of positive integers less than n that are co-prime to n, that are co-prime to n. Now for phi 5, what are co-primes? 1 is co-prime to every number, 1, 2 is also co-prime to 5 because there is no other, 3 is also, 4 is also. So quotient function is the number of positive integers. It is the number of positive integers. So quotient function phi for 5 is 4. All those numbers will be in this group, in this set, which are less than n and are co-prime to n. So 1, 2, 3, 4 are less than 5 and they are co-prime to 5. Similarly, if we find out 5, 6, totient function, Euler's totient function for 6, that would be 1, 5. 2, 3 and 4 having common divisors. 2 and 3 divide 6 and 4 is having one common divisor, that is 2, right? So Euler's totient function for 6 is 2 because it is a count. Remember, Euler's totient function is actually, it is not a function, it is a count, it is a number, right? So for prime number 5 it is 4, for other number it could be anything. Look, Euler's totient function for 3 is 1 and 2 equal to 2. For 5, 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is equal to 6. For 5, 11, it is 1 to 10, all numbers, that is equal to 10. For 5, 23, it is equal to 1 to up to 22 because no number is having any common divisor with 23 because it is a prime number. Of prime numbers only. So 3, 7, 11, 23, they are prime numbers. So 22. So what we can derive from this? What we can derive? Whenever we are having some, we are finding out the totient function for some prime number that is 1 less than that number. All right. So Euler's says that for any prime number, totient function is equal to n minus 1. That is 3. For 3 it is 2. For 7 it is 6. 11 it is 10, 23 it is 22, for 43 it would be 42, and so on. All right. So for 27 it is 26, not 27. Or 31 it would be 30. All right. For every prime number, in case of prime numbers, Euler's torsion function is 1 less than the prime number. Otherwise it could be anything. Like for 35 it is 24. Let's take an example. When we are having some large numbers, we can break those numbers as, like if we are having 535, then we can write it as 5 of 7 into 5 of 5. All right. So 7 and 5 are prime numbers. So for prime number, Euler's torsion function says that it is n minus 1, that is 7 minus 1 into 5 minus 1, that is 6 into 4, 24. So in case of numbers which are not prime, it is not n minus 1, it is not 34, it is 24 here, it could be 12 somewhere, it could be 13 somewhere, 10 somewhere, 8 somewhere, etc. So GCD, whenever we break some number into some smaller numbers, the GCD of those numbers must be 1. GCD of 7 and 5 is 1. That is, they are co-primes. If they are not prime, they should be at least they should be co-primes, right? So this is Euler's torsion function. Next is Euler's theorem. All right. So Euler's theorem says that x to the power phi n is equal to 1 mod n. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? Euler states that what is this phi n? Anyone? What is phi n? It is Euler's torsion function, right? X to the power of Euler's torsion function is equal to 1 mod n, or it can say x to the power phi n mod n is equal to 1. All right, this is another statement of Euler's. Mod n can be shifted to this side and it is equal to 1. This is the proof actually. So let's take example, x is equal to 4 and n is equal to 165. This x is equal to 4 and this n is equal to 165, right? So first of all, find out GCD of x and n, that is 4 and 165. Euler says that this result is always true if n r is 1. That means they are not multiple of each other. Only one is the common divisor among them. Although they are not prime numbers, but they must be co-prime to each other. 4 and 165 are co-primes here. They are having only one as a common divisor. All right. So let's find out Euler's torsion function for phi n. For phi n, that is equal to phi 165 can be written as phi of 15 into phi of 11. That can again further be divided into phi of 5 into phi of 3, phi 3 is 15 into phi of 11. Now all these three numbers are prime numbers. So phi n for prime numbers is equal to n minus 1. So that is 4 into 2 into 10. That is equal to 80. All right. So our formula becomes 4 to the power x. The value of x is 4. So 4 to the power phi n. What is phi n? That is 80. All right. 4 to the power 80 is equal to 1 mod 165. So although this is a very large number, 4 to the power 80 is a very large number, it cannot be calculated manually. But still, if it is calculated by through a system, then 4 to the power 80 mod 165 will always be 1, right? Even this 4 to the power 8 is multiplied by any number a, any integer 1, 2, 3, 4. Even then, it will remain, result remains same. So from here we can say that x to the power phi n into a mod n equal to 1, or x to the power phi n into a is equal to 1 mod n. All right. So these results are again. So this is Euler's. We can have two statements from here: x to the power phi n equal to 1 mod n, or x to the power phi n into a equal to 1 mod n, right? So I am assuming that everyone is getting everything because there are no responses, right? So next in the row is Fermat's theorem. Fermat's theorem. Fermat's theorem is a special case of Euler's theorem. Case of Euler's theorem. In case of Euler's theorem, we said that x to the power phi n is equal to 1 mod n, and x and n are co-primes. X and n are co-primes, means GCD of x and n equal to 1. But Fermat is a special case of Euler's. It says that n is a prime number. It also says that this condition is true and n is prime. So simply if n is prime, this implies that the formula will become x to the power n minus 1, because phi n, Euler's quotient function, becomes n minus 1 when n is prime. Phi n is equal to n minus 1 in case n is prime, right? So x to the power n minus 1 is equal to 1 mod n, right? So this is our formula. And also if we multiply x on both sides, what will happen? Multiply x, it will become x to the power n minus 1 plus 1, because x is multiplied, so it will become plus 1 equal to x mod n. All right, that becomes x to the power n is equal to x mod n. So this is another result of Fermat's theorem, right? So we got two special states. They are dependent on Euler's theorem, right? Special case is n is prime, otherwise GCD of x and n is 1. So statement is same, x to the power phi n equal to 1 mod n, right? Just by multiplying with x, we have derived another statement for Fermat's theorem, which is a little different, that x to the power n equal to x mod n. So both the statements are true. This, sorry, this and this. They are the statements for Fermat's theorem. Is this clear to everyone? Let us move. That is multiplicative inverse. Next is multiplication. In case of multiplicative inverse, we are having some x that is supposed to be not congruent to 0 with respect to some number like mod n. All right. It says that it is not congruent to 0 mod n. So if we say that it is not congruent, then there must be some number with respect of which it is not congruent. For example, x, if multiplied with y, it will become congruent to 1 mod n. So this y is called as the multiplicative inverse. This y is called as the multiplicative inverse. Let's take an example. If some result says that 3 is not congruent to 0 mod 5, then there must be some number. 3 into 2 is equal to 1 mod 5. All right. If we say that 6 mod 5 equal to 1, right? So this is correct. So 2 is the multiplicative inverse of 3. 2 is the multiplicative inverse of 3 with respect to mod 5. All right. So we can say that 2 is multiplicative inverse of 3 mod 5. Vice versa is also true. 3 is multiplicative inverse of, right? So this is multiplicative inverses, how they are calculated. We have already done DES, double DES and triple DES. So in unit 1 is AES. Advanced encryption standard is also a block cipher like DES. All right, again it is a symmetric cipher like DES. The only difference is that it is faster than DES, it is more secure than DES. All right, it uses words like one word is of 32 bit. Everyone know what are words? What is word unit? That is actually a word is a logical unit that depends on the architecture of the system being used. All right, in some cases words are of 8 bits. All right, in some cases it is of bytes also, that is 64 bits. All right, it could be of 2 bytes also. So in our case it is of 4 bytes. So 4 bytes is 32 bit, right? Any student raise hand please if you're getting my voice. Yes, students, raise hand. Hurry up. If this till now everything is clear to you people. Yes, students, if I am to raise your hands again, as I got disconnected for a moment. All right. So let us start with AES. Advanced Encryption Standard. Is a block cipher. All right. It uses symmetric key for encryption. It uses 128-bit plain text, unlike DES. In DES कितना होता था? In DES it was 64-bit plain text. Here it is 128-bit plain text, right? It is faster than DES. It is more secure than DES. It uses words for encryption. It does its encryption word by word. Right? It uses state matrix and input matrix. They are 4 by 4 matrix. All right. State matrix stores intermediate results, and input matrix gives this 128-bit input data. How 4 by 4? If we are writing some 4 by 4 matrix here, in this case, each this bit must represent 1 byte. All right. In that case, only we can have 128 bits. Now let's see the structure first. It is taking a lot of time. Why it is so slow? Structure of each round. Now, how many rounds we are having? Let me share something with you. Is this visible to you, people? Screen is visible to you? Anyone write in chat box? Yes or no? Yes, students. All right, all right. Okay. So here you can see what it is. It is a symmetric key block cipher encryption. All right, established in 2001 by US and SIT, National Institute of Standards and Technology, and it uses fixed block size, that is 128 bit for encryption, 16 bytes, that are 4 words. So there are 3 variants of AES. 3 variants of AES. They are like, if number of bits in the key is 128 bit, then it is called AES 128 version. If number of bits in the and number of rounds in 128 bit key is 10, if we are using a key of size 192 bit, that is called AES 192 version, and it uses 12 rounds. If there is one key of 256 bits is used, it is called AES 256 version, and 14 rounds of encryptions are used. So what happens in each round? Let us see. This is a structure. In each round there is one pre-round transformation, then round 1, round 2 up to round n. That means if we are having 12 rounds, then we need 13 keys, because one is key 0, k0, that is keys. The original key, for example, in this case, let's say take example of 10 round AES 128 version. So key would be of 128 bit. So that key will be expanded and will be generated, means 10 sub keys will be generated, and 11th key will be used for pre-round transformation. So one pre-round transformation and 10 rounds are there. So what would happen in each round, we will see one by one. All right. So you can see that what are I have told you that we are using two type of arrays here. One is input array, another is state array. All right, and in each round we are having uh, four transformations. All right, in each round we are having four transformations. Only the last round is there, which is having three transformations. In last round, mixed column transformation is missing. In last round, mixed column transformation is not there. So regardless of which type of AES we are using 128 bit AES, we are using 192 or 256 bit AES. Corresponding to that, we are using number of rounds. For first round, for 128 bit, we are using 10 rounds. For 192, we are using 12 rounds. All right, and so on. So the structure of round remains same for each case, because the algorithm of is same AES. So whatever key size we are using, whatever number of rounds we are using, regardless of that each round remains same. All right, and in each round we have four transformations. Only in the last round, in each case, तीन तरह के DS, three types of DS we are going to discuss here. All right, sorry, three type of AES we are going to discuss here, and in each type, each round is having four transformations, and in each type, the last round will be having three transformations, with the exception that one transformation of mixed column transformation is missing there, right? So I have told you that we are having two type of arrays. One is input array, that is used to input 128 bit plain text. All right, 4x4 matrix is used. Another is state array. So after each transformation, the result will be stored in the state array. All right. After, I am repeating, after each transformation, if we are having after each round, if we are having 10 rounds, so the result of each round will be stored in the state array. So state array will be having two things, 16 bytes and 4 words. It is divided into 16 bytes and 4 words. 16 bytes is 16 into 8, 128. All right. So 16 byte or 4 words. 4 words is again 128. Sorry, 32 into 4. So it can be represented in both ways, but in state array it is represented as names that can use both bytes or words. All right, 16 bytes or 4 words. So here in, if we say that this is S, take this case S12, S12. So S12 represent that here this sub byte S, and having 1 and 2. 1 represents the byte number and 2 represents the word number. All right. So S01 means 0th byte of word number 2. 1 2 means once byte number 1 of word number 2, byte number 2 of word number 2, byte number 3 of word number 2, and in last column byte number 0 of word number 3, byte number 1 of word number 3, byte number 2 of word number 3, byte number 3 of word number 3, and so on. All right. If we take them column wise, they can be treated as single word. All right. 8888, that is bytes. Sorry, 32 bits. That can 32 bits constitute one word. Then column 2, 8888, that is 32 bits again. That is one word, and third column, fourth column, so on. Right. So this is how these keys are being expanded. Actually, you need not to pay attention on this. See this. This is our rounds. Now we have seen the structure. I have told you that we are having some input array. We are having state array. All right, and we are having we have seen the structure of AES. Like in structure of AES, we are having 10 rounds or 12 rounds or 14 rounds. All right, and each round is having 4 transformation. Now let us see what is going on inside each round. All right, so this is what is going on inside each round. This is the only thing which you need to. AES में DES की तरह आपको round के अंदर बताना. You must know what is going on inside the round, how the actual structure of AES is working, and what kind of transformations are going on. So inside the round, each round there is plain text of 128 bit. First step is there are 4 transformation. I said first transformation जो है that is substitute byte. Second है जो second transformation is shift rows. Third transformation is mix column, and fourth transformation is add round keys. Add round keys. All right. So before each transformation, before each round and after each round, there is one add round key step is there. All right. So after transfer means encryption for one time in each round, there is add round key for the next round. So as we have discussed that in the last round, there are only 3 transformations. So mixed column transformation is missing in the last round. You have to tell that substitute bytes, shift rows, add round keys. All right. And we will get the ciphertext of 128 bit. So this is algorithm of AES. Students, hope everyone got the idea of AES. If there is any doubt, you can ask me or write to me. We can have another session for this, right? So wish you all the best for your MST. Thank you for being in the session. Students may leave the session now. If there is any doubt, you can write in the chat box. If you want some additional session also, then also you can contact me through your CR.